Oh, George, how are you today?
Oh,
Oh,
brother Meatball John, how the heck are you?
I'm good.
Oh, what happened? Yeah, okay. You said, oh, what happened? What happened?
As soon as your suite went live, you started having internet issues. You started getting stuck.
Oh no. Was it any better now?
Oh yeah, yeah. It just
Can you see my boat?
your boat is lovely. You have a lovely boat.
John, maybe I'm wrong, but wasn't my boat parked in the other direction before?
No,
All right. I just thought maybe somebody moved my boat.
no.
I see you're having a lovely weather there in the Hawaii Islands or wherever the hell you are. Where are you? Tahiti?
I don't. I think it's Hawaii. Yeah.
Oh, Hawaii. That's good.
Um,
That's good.
the tropical storm came,
That's nice.
and
Yeah, I saw some of your tweets. Bob was asking you if you had power.
yeah, never lost power. It was a kind of a mild one.
Bob's our brother, of course,
I
and I live.
I think the eye of the storm went right over me, but it happened
That's
about 7 o'clock.
incredible.
Pardon?
That's incredible. The eye of the storm.
But it was a tropical storm at that point, and luckily in my neighborhood we really didn't get any damage, and I never lost power. I did have some flickers, power flickering on and off a little bit, but that was it.
Well, you won't get a damage in your neighborhood because you pay higher
Oh, is that how it works?
taxes over there, and so the state protects you. Yeah.
Oh, good. I didn't realize that. All right, so the Buffalo Bills.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Do you? Great. uh this week, the Buffalo Bills, coming off a tough loss to the New York Jets, only their second loss of the season, and they got to play the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, remember we talked about they were led by Cabbage Head, and he did not have a good day. Josh Allen wasn't able to play last week, so Cabbage Head took his place. He looks a lot like Josh Allen, but in this case, he just didn't play well. Boy, whoever they had in there instead of Josh Allen stunk, but he looked a lot like Josh Allen.
Yeah. Okay, I tweeted out some injury updates today.
Okay.
Okay, first thing, Dane Jackson and Milano had been practicing in red jerseys, so they're untouchable.
Yeah.
However, they both were not in red jerseys. So we don't know if that means full participant or what, but that's still progress. That's encouraging. That's an encouraging sign as far as whether or not they would play.
I heard they were gonna play.
Okay. Elam was on a stationary bike. I don't think that's a very good sign. I think he might be out. Jordan Poyer was working with trainers, not practicing with the other players, which I think is what he's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is, there's a low probability that he would be ready to go. However, Tremaine Edwards was not practicing today. And I don't know if it was announced if that was just a veteran.
Edmonds?
Tremaine
Edmonds?
Yeah, I said Edwards. Yeah, Edmonds. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's just a veteran day off or if he has an injury that he's dealing with.
John, let me grab my special phone. Okay. Now I got to remember where I put it, but oh yeah, I see it. Okay. I left the building. No, I didn't leave it. I think you can still hear me. But sometimes I'm able to find out if it was just veterans rest.
Oh, okay.
So let me look under my secret little thing I got here and see if maybe I can tell if it was veterans rest.
While you're doing that, Bob texted me, and he was doing a little research on Jordan Poyer's injury. And
Okay.
what he came up with was Poyer has described his injury to the press. He said that he felt a pop in the elbow.
Okay.
And for that UCL, a pop normally is going to be a very long rehab and or a surgery. He might be doing the kind of thing where, look, if he gets the surgery, he's done for the year. So he's going to wait and see if it begins to heal and start to feel better, where he can play with it before he elects to go ahead and get the surgery. Because once he does that, he's out for a significant amount of time. So whether it's actually torn, if it's a torn, it generally also, if it's torn, it generally involves intense pain. So he might not be feeling that much pain, or he might be feeling that if it can heal a little bit and some of the swelling goes down, he might be able to play with it.
Mm-hmm.
But now that's of course speculation based upon his description.
Okay, so Josh Allen had limited practice today.
Okay. Do we know if he threw a football?
I don't know.
No,
Spencer Brown was in full practice.
Isn't that good? That's good news.
Tremaine Edmonds was in limited practice. Kyer Elam was shut down did not practice, which is a downgrade. Practice. I think that means he's going to be out.
Yeah, that's on Friday. It's Friday, and he got downgraded. That's not good.
Dane Jackson today had full practice.
Full, nice.
Cam Lewis, Matt Milano, full practice.
Good. I didn't even realize Cam Lewis was hurt.
Von Miller never practices. He's always listed as veterans rest.
That's okay.
Mitch Morris, full practice.
I didn't realize.
Quisenberry, full practice.
Oh, that's good. He had gotten hurt in the last game.
Jordan Poyer and Gregory Rousseau did not practice. So I think Rousseau is going to be out.
Yeah, I think so too. He hasn't practiced.
Stephon Diggs did not practice, but that was veterans rest.
Good.
Okay. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. I think Elam will be out, but that's just another. I mean, what does that mean? We're going to have you're going to be, if you don't play Elam, you're out that cornerback. If you don't play White, then you're still out White. You're out Poyer. You're out Hyde. You're out your number one pick in Elam. Your entire backfield is devastated. You got another rookie that you picked up in cornerback. Who still got a club on his hand, right?
As far as I know.
And like, how are they going to stop this Minnesota Vikings passing attack? It's not like they only have one good pass receiver. You know, they've got Justin Jefferson that can receive. Their tight end, I forgot who that is, can receive. Delvin Cook not only can run, he can receive. He's great on screen passes and such. I think the Bills' defense, it could be in trouble because not only is their back end more than thin, it's in bad shape. Now you got Greg Rousseau, you got Groot sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
And who are you going to put in place of him? So you're really relying, excuse me for scratching my eye here, you're really relying on Jordan Phillips, Ed Oliver pressing in the middle, and Von Miller trying to attack from his side. And if you don't have Groot on the other side, and Miller is just trying to get a sack, then you're open both ends for runs around the line. And who's going to stop that running back? You don't have Hyde, you don't have Poyer, you don't have Elam, who's going to stop this? I mean, DeMar Hamlin, he didn't do it last week. Is he going to come up for run support? So you got Milano back, so that's great. That'll help a lot. But if your other linebacker's out, then this could be a real devastating.
Yep.
The one thing about Tremaine Edmonds, he had been did not play. And now Friday, at least he was at limited practice. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the Bills defense is a suspect this week. And you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I think their defense is suspect.
All right. What about the Bills offense? We've got Case Keenum.
Okay.
I'm going to call him the great Case.
Up until now, we've had Josh Allen, which is a good thing. And the Bills are 6-2. A lot of that is because they played great defense as well. But Josh Allen hasn't found anybody other than Diggs on a consistent basis the entire first half of the season. He finds Diggs, but he doesn't seem to find anybody else. And so we have to make a decision. Did he not find anybody else because they're not getting open? You're telling me Gabe Davis isn't getting open, Isaiah McKenzie can't get open, Shakir, they can't trust him to go in and get open. The running backs coming out of the backfield can't get open, the tight end can't get open. Or is it a case that Josh Allen just throws to Diggs? We're going to find that out, because I think I don't know who's going to play, John. I really think it's going to be the backup quarterback, Case Keenum, that's going to come in. I don't think you're going to see Josh Allen struggling to play in a battle where he has to catch up against the Vikings offense. You're going to risk him in a shootout for the rest of the when you're going to need him for the rest of the season. So I think you're going to see Case Keenum in there. That's my thinking. And I'm thinking that Case Keenum is going to find some of these other guys, because I don't think he's going to be locked and loaded on just Diggs. I think some of these other guys are getting open. It appears to me when I watch a lot of the film that I'm seeing a lot of these guys getting open, and Josh isn't just not throwing that. So we're going to find out if Case Keenum can throw the ball around a little more, and maybe we'll even see if they can get this Nyheim Hines going in this game.
Okay.
So they might turn it over to Hines and Cook and see if they can get some passing coming out of that backfield, or some a gadget plays going. You know, I saw a film today with Isaiah McKenzie this year, how he's done a good job.
Who has?
And, you know, he's doing a good job. And, you know, you can't criticize him by looking at the tape, because you're not looking at the tape that we're looking at, he said. You got to look at the tape we're looking at. Now, I don't know what in God's name he meant by that. Is he trying to say that I'm doing what they tell me to do, and I'm getting my job done, and you're just not watching the tape the way that we're watching it? Because
you were all choppy there. We don't know what player you're talking about.
Oh, I've been talking about Isaiah McKenzie.
McKenzie. Oh, okay. Okay.
And he was talking about how he's been playing well, and the reporters are just not watching the same tape that the Bills are watching.
It sounds like Tremaine Edmonds talking.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
No, I'm sure you're right that it was him, but I mean, it's reminiscent of like Tremaine Edmonds supporters.
Yeah.
Well, okay. All right. Well, let me throw a couple things at you.
Mhm.
You had mentioned that Diggs is pretty much the offense, the passing offense, right?
Right.
Um, Interesting note. Allen has not been featuring Diggs like this since the first year that Diggs was on the team,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
and to the almost exclusion of other players, like you said.
Mhm.
So it'll be. I'm curious as to, but yet the offense was performing well. So I'm curious if this was Allen or if this was the offensive game plan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We don't know.
And with the change in offensive coordinators, that's a possibility. If it wasn't for that, it really, I don't know that it would be much of a possibility because Dable last year, Allen set a record for throwing passes to 11 different receivers in
Yes.
1 year.
Yes.
And that, well, I think that's kind of, in a way, that stopped. We don't see that kind of spreading the ball around, that kind of diversity on the field. Um, when a game is over and Diggs has 2 touchdowns and I don't know how many, 100 and some yards, the offensive coaches might be like, we did a great job.
Mhm.
That's perfect. We won. Our offense was somewhat balanced as much as we want it to be balanced. We threw for a bunch of passes, but it was inevitably it was Diggs catching the balls or catching the majority of the balls. So they might be happy with what, like we're calling it, an issue, a challenge, and they might have been happy with it. So if we see Diggs still getting featured, that might be an indication that that's the game plan. He's your best receiver, and that's
Yeah.
how they're going to do it. Everybody else is a decoy unless it's a scramble play, and he's got to go to him.
Well, I think the Packers finally flushed out the answer to defending Josh Allen, and the Jets took advantage of it because the Jets had some really, really good cornerbacks as well. But if you put pressure on Josh Allen and you make him make a decision fast, he throws in the direction of Diggs. And if you got Diggs double covered,
Or single covered, just covered.
if you got him covered, he's throwing to him anyway. And he just makes a decision and he throws it quick and he throws it out there. And anybody else that he decides to throw to, it's almost like, oh my God, I realized that Diggs isn't open. Let me just throw it in that direction.
It doesn't appear to be part of the progression. It's more like an afterthought.
And he's not accurate. Yeah, it's more like a scramble, like you say, and it's like he's just chucking the ball in the direction of other players, and he's overthrowing them, he's underthrowing them, he's not accurate. They're saying, oh, he dropped the ball. Well, the guy had to bend over like a pretzel and barely gets it off his fingertips, and you're going to blame it on the receiver. It's a problem, and I think the Packers flushed that out. You rush five guys against the Bills. It spooks Josh Allen, and he throws it towards Diggs, and he gives up interceptions, or he just chucks it in the direction of.
Well, I don't know that I would agree with spooks because the offensive line did not play well.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. Put another word in there. I don't care. He panics.
Well, I wouldn't say that either. Like if there's somebody in your face before your first throw, like before your first option, that's a problem. They're trying to run deep routes, and there's guys in the backfield with him. That's a problem. He's at that point, he's in recovery mode. He's just trying to do something, and unfortunately, in Green Bay in particular, I mean, we saw him throwing awful interceptions. All right, but so that's that. We did. I'm looking forward to seeing what the game plan really is. You mentioned, will they utilize the guys in the backfield? Will they try to incorporate other wide receivers? Or will it still be Diggs centric? You also mentioned, oh, well, guys in the backfield. This is now second week. Hines has now had a full 2 weeks of practice, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess a full week of practice even. This might very well be a time that he could not only be, I don't want to use the word weapon, but he could be part of the offense and catching the balls downfield. He could be part of the release valve to help out with pressure. Case Keenum, before the game, Friday or Saturday, the coordinator sits down one-on-one with the starting quarterback. And they go through every play that's part of the game plan. And the quarterback lets him know how he feels about him, what he's comfortable with, what he's less comfortable with. For whatever reason, it may be his ability to make the throw, or it might be I'm less comfortable with that because I don't see the receivers being able to run that route properly in practice. For whatever reason, they could go through them. That's also how the coordinator puts together. That's part of the coordinator putting together his playlist. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with for Keenum and what he's comfortable with. He might be much more comfortable with throwing the ball to the backs than Allen wants to be. Not just comfortable, he just wants to be. He wants to throw the ball downfield. That's always been his thing. So Keenum might be much more open to, I want to spread the ball around, and I can't elude defensive linemen, so I have to have quick passes available or whatever, easy passes available. So it'll be fun. And Brown returning might mean that, like last week's game in the first half, we saw some running, like positive yards, running plays, a couple of nice plays.
Right.
They really did stop trying to run.
Yes, they did.
So we might see that hopefully it'll be, if they might run more, maybe they'll maintain that throughout the game and not abandon it. The game was close. It wasn't a blowout. They could have continued to run until really the middle of the fourth quarter, and they just did.
I can see the Bills taking an offense position where it's a much tighter formation. You got your 5 guys up front, center, guards, and tackles. You got your tight end. And so that's 5, 6, 7 when you count Josh. You got a running back in there. That's 8. And then you're only putting out 3 receivers, a slot and 2. And then he's got more protection in the pocket. And then you could have the tight end slip off the line or a running back slip out and have that short pass. And I can see us moving the ball 3-4 yards at a time down the field and getting first downs and keeping Minnesota on the sidelines. You want to control Justin Jefferson, keep him on a bench. And the Bills have not controlled the clock the last couple of weeks. And it's time to start controlling the clock. And if you don't think you can get those running lanes, then maybe you could do it this way. Protect your quarterback and give him the option of dumping that pass off and getting a few yards. And I can see the Bills doing that. I can see them running and open up a lane for your running back. Force the defenders wide and get yourself a good block or 2 on the line and break a running back up the middle. I can see that happening. So that's kind of way I'm thinking that the offense, we're going to see them. I think we're going to see more ball control. I don't think we're going to see big strikes downfield.
You and I both like that YouTube channel, Buffalo Plus.
Okay. Yep.
And they have that fella on there. I don't know his last name. First name Dan, the young guy.
Mm-hmm.
The young guy.
Dan Fates.
And he he basically promotes, in today's NFL, you don't really need a running game.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But this game, when you have to potentially start your backup, it's not just bad weather that you're looking for to maybe need the running game. it's games like this. A running
You
game
know, and they're calling for rain and snow.
that might be the
In
best.
Buffalo.
Yeah, that might be the best scenario if normally we worry about the Bills offense being affected by the weather, but if it can negatively affect the Viking passing game, that
Yeah.
that only helps. I think that's
You got to remember the old days when I was a kid. Minnesota played in an open field, and they had to have the big machines come out and try and defrost the ground so they could play on it. Now they play in a dome. So let's see what happens when the Vikings get outside in Buffalo and it's windy and rainy and
maybe
and
the weather will
snowy.
help the Bills this week.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Now, I also do think, John, and maybe we're not going to agree on this, that's for sure, but everybody's calling for this game to be under. Over and under the last I saw was 43 and a half.
Okay.
So you're talking like 23-20 game. I think the game's going to go over, to be honest with you. I think the game is going to go over. I think there's going to be a lot of fumbles and interceptions, defensive plays that is going to, the teams are going to end up getting good field position in, and that they're going to be able to score. So I'm calling this game over. And I do think that the Bills have a better overall team than the Vikings.
Okay. Well, I hear you. All right, so you're picking the Bills to win. I'm picking the Bills to win.
I'm thinking like 24-21.
Okay, and
It's enough to put it over, and it's still not a huge scoring game. If you look at the Vikings, most of the games they played in this year, it's the total scores in their games are well over 50 points.
The Vikings.
Yeah.
Are you picking the Bills no matter which quarterback? If it happens where Josh Allen starts, are you still picking the Bills?
Yeah, because I'm not sure that there's an advantage in that kind of weather game with having Josh Allen, who's going to throw it 70 yards down the field. I don't think that's what they're going to try anyway. And so I don't see much of a difference between having Case Keenum out there and Josh Allen, unless you think that they need Josh Allen in the running game.
Okay.
So I think the only advantage that Josh would give them in that kind of a weather situation is a running. Have enough playmakers on their side to come up with a running or a short passing attack where you don't need to risk your quarterback that way. So I don't see that much of an advantage unless it's you need Josh Allen to pick up third and a half a yard. You shouldn't, but we seem to use him, but maybe we don't. We should stop thinking that. If that's the case, line up Gilliam and the quarterbacks and let him let him take the ball like a wildcat and just jump over the line. You know, you don't need your quarterback to be always doing that 3rd and 1 to get a first down. Let your tight end line up and get it under.
Okay. Yeah. So we definitely see the game a little differently. You know,
Now you're usually right.
special teams and defense can score, and this would be a good game. Bills special teams and defense to put some points on the board. For the Bills offense, I don't think they're going to score more than 3 times.
Okay.
Whether that's 9 points or 21 points, I'm really not sure. But
Okay.
I think moving the ball between the 20s is going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Putting the ball in the red zone is going to be a problem. And I think that when they have the ball inside their own 20, their best bet might be to punt. That might be their best play. I think their offense is going to really struggle. And unless the special teams and defense get them easy points, yeah, anywhere between 9 and 17 points. Now, the over may work if the Vikings go off. They've been putting up points.
You got a risky Bills defense. They look suspect right now.
So
And,
that
yeah.
the key, that could be the way that the over hits. I like to think of the Bills defense as being better than that, but like you said, there's a lot of injuries. So yeah, I think we do see the game a little differently. I hope on the radio today, they kept talking about Case Keenum still has some passing records in the NCAA.
Well, John, let me ask you this question.
Sure.
When you're looking at the Bills that come onto the field on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
who do you think is a better quarterback? Kirk Cousins or Case Keenum?
Kirk Cousins.
And do you think that's a
You froze.
big difference? Oh, do you
Yeah.
think that's a big difference between Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum?
Yeah, I think Case Keenum is barely hanging on in the league.
Okay.
I think he's survived in this league right now based on his reputation from when he took the Vikings to the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
as backup. By the way, he was a backup then, and then after that season remained a backup.
Okay.
So I think his best days are very much in his rearview mirror. That doesn't mean he can't have a nice day, and I hope he does. But right now, I think Joe Flacco is a better quarterback
All right.
than Case Keenum. So that's just where we are. Like, let's hope he proves me wrong.
Yeah. I see Case Keenum and Kirk Cousins not that far apart. I think Case Keenum has got a lot of knowledge. He's got a lot of smarts. He's not going to be fooled by the Minnesota defense. And I just think you got to not ask him to do things that he's not built to do. You can't ask him to be scrambling around in the backfield and then running 14 yards to pick up a 13-yard.
Well,
first down.
you're freezing up a little bit.
Simple offensive scheme.
You're freezing up a little bit there.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, ask Case Keenum to
this is terrible. Yeah, I think that if you give him a sound, sensible, and more simplified offensive scheme, that they can move the ball and keep Minnesota off the field.
Okay.
And I think that they will be able to get in there and score. And because you do have a lot of weapons on the Bills. You got a lot of weapons, and I believe a lot of those weapons just haven't been utilized. And they're going to need to use everybody. They're not going to be able to say, Case, you just go find Diggs and don't do anything else. Yeah. I don't think they could do that. I don't think they will do that. So that's just my thought. Maybe it's just a pipe dream. And I see our time is getting lower. So I'll wrap it up from my side and let you talk, of course. But I think it's going to be a close game. And the Bills are going to be able to pull it out at home.
All right, let's see. Is this week 9?
10.
10. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we got. What time do the Bills play?
They play at noon, I believe, on Fox.
Okay, noon.
I believe we're going to get that game.
They play noon your time. So
noon
1
my time, yeah.
Eastern Central. It's on Fox. I think I get that game.
I think we both get it.
Oh, I get to watch it on my new TV. Does Tampa?
This might be the best game of the weekend.
Generally, I get the Buccaneer game, so the Bucks must be playing a different day, a different time. Okay, that's fantastic. All right. Well, good news for me then. I get to watch the game on my new TV. Hopefully, they'll pull out a win. All right,
Yeah, enjoy that.
for Meatball George. This is Buffalo Brothers. We're kind of signing off. We hope you enjoyed our little preview of the game. George went with over and a Bills victory. Are they covering? If the point spread right now is 3.5. Do you have the Bills as a 3.5 favorite? So are the Bills covering?
I do not have them. I do not have them covering the points. No, I don't have them covering the points. I think it's going to be a really close game. Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you for.
Bye. Go Bills.
Go Bills. And no, all I want to do.
You got less than a minute, so it's going to shut off.